AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Sending you off into your football weekend. We're thrilled to be here. Glad you are as well. Alondra's hanging out on site. Thanks to Musso and Cassie back in studio handling business. We got a ton to do. Dari Nowkhah is going to be here in 13 minutes from right now. Thanks to Jordan Rogers, who was here last hour. We had Phil Steele in hour 1. Great opportunity to talk some college football and the NFL heading into a big football weekend. We are, we'll get Dari here in about 15 minutes. I'll give you a Saints-Pats pick, and then I'll give you my final thought, preview, and prediction on LSU and South Carolina. That's all coming up. So we do our pick'em segment every week. Terrio's not here. Figured good opportunity to bring Chris Marler on LouisianaSports.net. He covers the SEC for our website. He also is the host of Locked On Gamecocks, so dude who literally covers South Carolina every single day as well. It's a good opportunity to do this. How are you?
I'm good. Good. A little bit nervous about tomorrow.
Why don't you pull the mic up by your face? Yeah.
How's that? Is that better?
Is that the one that droops? Is that
a me thing?
No, it's not a you thing. Well, one of the mics, the thing droops, so you kind of have to leave it up like that. Anyway,
I didn't want to mouth breathe into it. That was my main concern.
Doesn't matter. No. Nobody cares. It's just what it is. They're good mics. Just do you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Reluctantly, I tell you to do you. All right, we're gonna get to picks here in just a second. But give me a thought though on this Gamecock team and sort of the vibe around it, because coming into the season, look, Sellers was preseason first-team all-conference. There's some bald-headed loser who yells a lot who said that was stupid and that this team was going to go 7-5. He was actually really wrong, because 7-5 would be an accomplishment for this team at this point.
7-5 would be huge. It would be huge.
Looking at what they have ahead, it's tough. But give me a sense on, like, finger on the pulse. What's the vibe around the program right now?
So I don't feel like they go into this game thinking we have to win this game. I think I keep comparing it to the Alabama game last year, where it's like you can be 3-3 coming out of this and still feel some sort of confidence, because remember they were 3-3 last year and they went on that run, six straight wins.
Smoke all over you. Sorry about that.
6 straight wins.
Just not intentional. Sorry.
Perfect here.
Just right in your face.
But I think you could still talk yourself into maybe they get a couple of those wins, because nobody thought they were going to be good at the end of last season. They were able to pull out some stuff. Different team though, right? Like lost a lot of talent in there. Offensive line's terrible. The offensive line is just terrible, and you're down 3 starters, which I don't even know if that's a negative thing at this point, because the offensive line is so bad, even with the starters.
Which positions are out?
You got the left guard, center, and right tackle out. And the right tackle is Casey Henry. He's probably their best offensive lineman. So still some talent, but I think if you can figure out a way to foundationally get some positive steps after this game, like they had the close loss to Bama last year. They lost by 2. It felt like you were in that game. If they can have something similar to that, where they're not just blown out, I think you feel better about it.
Okay. We'll get to picks as well. We'll pick LSU, South Carolina at the end here. Buse, if you would, hit us with our music. We'll do the pick'em. I don't know if Paul left the updated graphic. Cassie, if he did, flash it up on the screen. Erica was our guest picker last week. I don't know. Wait, did we have Muse, get in my ear. Did we have a guest picker last week? I can't remember, actually. Or did we not? I don't know if it's okay. So
no, we did not. We did not.
That's right. So Erica was 2 weeks ago.
Your wife?
Yes, for the Ole Miss game.
Okay.
Because of the Landry, Kiffin, and Whitweeks things, because she's the foremost expert on she's been following Landry Kiffin on social media for years.
Awesome.
Because of the Get Ready With Me's with Lane, and you'd have to you'll get to know my wife better, but she's That's very on brand.
Right,
she knows
right.
nothing about football either, which is funny. Here we go. So here's the graphic. So Erica went 6-4 in her week. How about Zach Von Rosenberg and April Burkholder? April Burkholder, who's a Hall of Fame gymnast from LSU.
Yeah.
She basically, she's from Texas, so she just picked teams with Texas ties. Like, that was it.
The whole time.
Yeah, and she did really well. So,
Okay.
the point is, you don't have to really know much to do well.
Everyone on that list is way more important than I am. So I'm already very nervous.
Doesn't matter. We had Charles Alexander was great the day that the Florida game when they retired his jersey. He was on with us. So Von Rosenberg was here for Clemson, was on the team in 19 that beat Clemson for the national championship. So anyway, it's South Carolina week, and you lived in Columbia, South Carolina. You're the Locked On Gamecocks guy, and you cover the SEC for us. So let's see how you do. All right, we're going to start with Ohio State, Illinois. This one is in Champaign. It's a big number. It's 14.5, but that's the as Phil Steele calls it, the big 12-15 kickoff.
Give me Ohio State. I don't love the hook there, but give me Ohio State. I think that what they did against Indiana, or what Illinois did against Indiana, or lack thereof, I think is what would talk me into it.
I'm with you. I'll pick Ohio State as well. Am I wrong for not being all in on Ohio State as the best team in the country? I haven't seen it yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because that win against Texas is impressive, but it was at home. And Texas is not great. So I don't know. We also just don't know as much about them. But I think I would be most sold on them. And if you were telling me who there's one elite team in the country, I would go with them.
I'd pick Miami.
That's fair.
I mean,
scary.
What Miami did last week to Florida. I picked Florida State to win that game because I thought Florida State would be able to run the ball.
Right.
And the first drive of the game, Florida State's going right down the field. Miami holds them to a field goal. Florida State didn't threaten again. I mean, I was so Miami's got the line of scrimmage again, which they haven't
on
had,
both sides.
which they probably haven't had in 30 years.
Right.
But it was.
And Carson Beck going up. I remember saying this to you in like February. When he was at Georgia, they played 9 top 50 defenses for pass defense. They had 2 on that schedule last year for Miami, and so he's going to have a cakewalk the rest of the year.
Look, Beck was bad last year at Georgia, and that's one of the reasons I was not high on Miami. But he has been outstanding for them. I think Miami is the best team in the country so far. Long way to go, but we'll see.
Oh boy.
Alabama at Mizzou. Do you want to let our audience know of whom you're a fan?
As an unbiased member of the media, I'm going to say I will do what my fiance has told me I'm very guilty of, and I will admit it to the world. I will emotionally hedge in this game. Where I'm at with Alabama is the same way I was in 2023.
You've been doing that on Winning and Boozing every week with Bama.
Go read the article. It's a great article.
It is. It's like the best thing you do at LouisianaSports.net. Seriously, I've told you that. But like, I read it. I'm like, that's exactly what you're doing. Like, when you're like, don't overthink it. Pick Georgia over Bama, 31-20. Like, don't overthink it. Georgia's great. Bama stinks.
So my buddy, my best friend is a Mizzou guy. He sent me this very lengthy response, and I'll have to send you later because it was just nailing every single thing that I did step by step in the emotional hedge. I'm still going to take Mizzou because I think I can look at this game and I think of 2010 Bama against South Carolina. You had a big win at Arkansas. You had a big win at home against Florida. Both top 10 matchups. He had to get up emotionally for 2 straight weeks. I don't think he can do it a 3rd straight week. They had to do that with Georgia and Vandy this past 2 weeks.
I picked against Bama the last 2 weeks, and they've won, so I'm picking Bama this week. I picked Bama against Florida State. We know how that went, so I'm picking Bama big in this game. Don't you go lose to Mizzou.
Don't do this.
Oklahoma. What do we make of Oklahoma, Texas?
I don't know what Vegas knows. It scares me. But there's nothing that Texas does that makes me think that they're going to go out there and right the ship against that defense, especially the front four. There's no it's the struggles they had last week on the offensive line. Nothing that tells me they're going to fix that.
We should all pick Oklahoma, so I'm picking Texas. TCU, we're not doing either of those. Arkansas at Tennessee. This is only intriguing because we're both picking Tennessee. Yes. All right, Tennessee. It's only intriguing because of Bobby Petrino.
Agreed. What's interesting is this line has actually dropped down to 9.5 before we started recording this. It was at 13.5, so it dropped 4 points. If you follow the other thing that I do sometimes well, Big Picks Energy. I'm all over Tennessee in every single thing I can get. At first half to cover 9.5, first quarter 6.5, and all their team total points over 20.5 in the first half. Tennessee all day. And Arkansas defense is terrible.
You can read that at LouisianaSports.net. But seriously, you should read Winning and Boozing. It is the best thing that you do. I don't get it because, like, your literary voice on that is so good, and I'm like, why do you make so many mistakes in everything? Like, why do you nail it there? And I have to edit you so.
I'm in my comfort zone. It's talking about drinking really and football.
It really is. Go read it. Winning and Boozing. It's great. It's LouisianaSports.net. Florida at Texas A&M. Can Billy Napier do it again?
Here's the thing. Billy Napier, when he has job security, is Mike Price. I think I said in the article today, is Jerry DiNardo. When he is on the hot seat.
You dropped a 1999 Jerry DiNardo reference. I was like,
well, I didn't know he was so good the 2 years prior to that.
they won 10 games in 96.
Yeah.
They won the Peach Bowl when the Peach Bowl was actually, well, I guess it's part of the thing now, but at the time it was a fruit bowl. It was good.
But see, here's the thing. When he is on the hot seat, he is somehow 2019 Ed Orgeron or Nick Saban. I don't understand what happens. But most of those big wins where he has kind of like elongated his job security or lengthened it, I guess, or lengthened the leash, he's been at home. He's on the road. Kyle Field, give me A&M.
I'm taking A&M as well. A&M can run the ball. They're great on both lines of scrimmage. I'll take A&M. I don't love the 7.5 either. I don't love the game there, but I'll pick A&M. Georgia at Auburn. I know you have a great affinity for this game. I'd say
you hate it.
I don't hate it.
You just don't care.
I hate that Georgia, Tennessee, and Auburn, Georgia are the things that define the SEC schedule. I like
Bama, Tennessee?
What did I say?
Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah, Bama, sorry. Yeah. Bama, Tennessee, and Auburn, Georgia. Like, those fan bases care deeply. I don't think other fan bases care.
That's fair. I mean, that is a fair way to look at it. Like, moving to Louisiana, nobody's talked about that. I grew up in, like, the shadows of Piedmont Park, where his first game was ever played. February 20th, 1892. Oh, God. We were all there. Stetson Bennett and Diego Pavia's first semester of college. It was great. But here's the thing. I will take... Georgia has won 17 of the last 20. I have this beautiful fiance that's sitting up here off camera. Big Auburn grad, big Auburn fan. If you have to depend on how spooky your stadium is at night to win games, I don't believe it.
I will tell you that I've been to every venue in the SEC except now for Mizzou. I will tell you Auburn, I think, is the best road venue I've been.
It's fun,
man. Let's see, and I love the LSU Auburn game. Like, that's my favorite game. Michigan at Southern Cal.
USC, I feel like that's the easy pick. I don't understand why it's so low. It's on the road, too.
Freshman quarterback and Bryce Underwood on the road. Yeah, give me Southern Cal. BYU, Arizona, because we have to.
So here's the thing. All of us know the entire landscape of college football, and this is not something I just looked up before the segment, but Arizona's 4-1 against the spread, so give me Arizona. As a home dog, give me the Wildcats.
Phil Steele picked Arizona outright winner.
Yeah,
upset special.
I saw his circle thing there, and I was like, we're going with that.
Yeah, Arizona, there it is. So we're going, he picked him outright?
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll go with Arizona. All right. South Carolina at Louisiana State University.
And
A&M College.
I don't know how South Carolina is able to consistently stay ahead of the chains because they haven't been able to all year. They're not going to be able to run the football. I don't think they're going to be able to rely on anything besides maybe broken plays from Leroy Sellers and chunk plays. Give me LSU. Hopefully it's close until the end.
Why do you want it to be close?
I don't know. So the audience that I have to cater to for 5 days out of the week has something to believe in?
I don't know, man. I think you'd want them to be angry.
I don't know. I don't like anybody's angry, especially you. But I'll take LSU to cover.
I am a want to get angry from time to time. I like LSU. We've talked about it a good bit. We've picked it a lot of different places. By the way, Chris and I did a crossover episode of Locked On Gamecocks and Locked On LSU. So it's about 30 minutes of he and I breaking down this game. So if you want to check it out, I would prefer you to go watch or listen to Locked On LSU, but you can follow Locked On Gamecocks.
I need
the
views. He doesn't.
That's such a relative term. I mean, we all need it. We're all aiming or striving for something there. All right, go read his stuff at LouisianaSports.net. Follow him on Twitter at. Are we still Vern Dumquist?
Vern_Funquist.
We're back to it.
I think it's been good luck.
Sure.
I had my year anniversary on Twitter. Have not been kicked off yet.
How many Twitter accounts have you lost?
We're on number 4. Lucky number 4, baby.
Vern_Funquist. Give him a follow. He's Chris Marler. Okay, thank you. We have to go talk to Dari Nowkhah now. That is Chris Marler. It's After Further Review. Thank you for being here with us. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out a quick break, and we'll visit with Dari Nowkhah of the SEC Network when we come back here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I know we're going into the weekend, but if you have an issue with your AC or your heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air because they work nights, holidays, and weekends. So you don't have to wait till Monday to get on somebody's list to get your unit fixed. They'll come out on the weekend. Also, if you have not done it yet, pre-season heater safety check. Mention the show. They'll give you $30 off, but it is so important you do this before the first cold snap, before you turn on your heater. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Not only presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, today we are live on this Football Friday from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Thrilled to have Dari Nowkhah from ESPN and the SEC Network join us. You can get him on Twitter at ESPN Dari. Always one of our favorites. Yo, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just getting ready to knock out a little SEC now tonight with Doring and Watson, but I think I might rather be where you are right now after hearing that.
Yeah, vibes are good on a Friday. Beautiful weather. Temps tipping into the well, it's actually 80 right now, but it was like 62 this morning, which is downright frigid for these parts, and you got a good SEC battle. Yeah, man, it'll be great this weekend. But Dari, I want to start actually with something probably nearer and dearer to your heart, which is the Red River rivalry this weekend. I have no idea what to think of this. Like, none. And the line has moved back and forth with Texas and OU being favored. Is Mateer going to play? Is he not? You can never figure out this game anyway. So give me your sense here inside of 24 hours from this game on what you're thinking.
My sense is that he plays. My sense is that he starts. I don't think Brent Venables can rightfully have John Mateer available. And by moving him to probable last night on the availability report, I think that you have to assume he's available and not play him in this game. I think that would almost be coaching malpractice if John Mateer is standing on the sidelines while Michael Hawkins Jr. no offense to him, is running the show for Oklahoma's offense against Texas in this game. So that said, I think he'll obviously give Oklahoma a boost if his hand is able, and I'm going to assume that his hand will be able. I think this comes down to, can Texas protect Arch? And I don't think they can. I think that Oklahoma defense, which is arguably the best in America, comes at him from all angles, leaves him completely off balance, leaves him completely unsettled in the pocket and, frankly, outside the pocket, and makes life a living hell for Arch. I think that defense is that good. I think that their offensive line is that suspect. And while Oklahoma's offensive line isn't very good either, I just think they're able to make enough plays offensively to allow their defense and their special teams to win this football game. So low scoring, the over-under makes sense to me. I do think Oklahoma ends up coming out with a win, but it's because of that defense.
Which is, in this series, Dari, then we should probably expect like a 46-42 Texas win, right? Because right. This is the weirdest thing ever to try to figure out is this game. I never bet it because and this is one of the more confusing opportunities that I can't even remember in this series. Do you have one game in the Red River rivalry that stands out to you for one reason or another that's maybe most meaningful, impactful or memorable for you?
Well, the first one I was at, Matt, but you would never think it would be. Oklahoma in 1996 was 0-4. Okay, Texas was ranked in the top 25. It was John Blake's first year in Norman. They'd lost 7 straight games overall. They were a nightmare. I was a sophomore, junior in college. First one I went down there with my buddy. We're supposed to get drilled. We're like 21.5-point underdogs. Down 11, 6.5 minutes to go. Punt return touchdown. Get a stop. Get a field goal. And we're all of a sudden find ourselves in overtime and Oklahoma against Texas. Hold them to a field goal, and then James Allen, who 2 years before had been stuffed at the goal line trying to go in for the win by a Texas lineman named Stoney Clark, ends up plunging in to the end zone for the win. We were 1-4, yet celebrated at the Cotton Bowl and at the fair as though we just won the national championship. I'll never forget it, man.
Shout out to Stoney Clark. Stoney
Clark.
I have done this show, Dari, for 15 years, and I can assure you there are not a lot of firsts. That is a first Stoney Clark reference ever on this show. It'll probably be the last.
I'll tell you who Oklahoma's quarterback was. It was Justin Fuente. So,
okay. Became the head coach at Memphis, Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And now he's working with the college football playoff.
Okay. But you see, Dari, that's a beautiful example of exactly what I'm talking about. Whatever you think in this game should be the logical approach, go the other way, which probably terrifies 100%. You. Which probably terrifies you.
Oh, it does. It does. It absolutely does. Now, we don't know anything. I mean, we think we do, but all of a sudden, Texas will protect Arch. He'll throw for 5 touchdowns, and they'll win in a rout. I mean, there is. It is the most unpredictable game I can think of annually almost in college football.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And the other one too, Dari, and look, tomorrow is just one of these like tasty slates that you wait for. It's why I love October. You get into the meat of conference races and you have some real things to dive into. Alabama, Missouri for me is fascinating because Missouri on paper looks like one of the best teams in the country, but objectively you look at who they played and you go, I don't know if any of this is real. Alabama's looked really good the last 2 weeks. However, I see real flaws with that team as well, notably their run defense, and Missouri can really run the ball. So I'm like, is Missouri actually like going to go trip up Alabama in this spot? I mean, it feels like it's plausible, but it's hard to pick.
I think they do. I think they are able to run over there. I love Ahmad Hardy. Matt, I think if you look around this league, 1-2 punch in the transfer portal this offseason, Missouri got it. They got the best 1-2 punch in the portal this season. The best, most impactful duo to their football team is Bo Pribula and Ahmad Hardy. Hardy's the real deal, but it's not just him. It's the scheme that they use. It's that, the outside zone scheme we talk about. That's why Drink went and got him. He's like, same thing with Nate Noel last year. We run a scheme. He runs a scheme. He worked great for us. We run a scheme. UL Monroe runs a scheme, same one. Ahmad Hardy works great for us. And it's not just him. It's Jamal Roberts, their number 2, is almost as dangerous. Maybe a little faster, but still physical. No, they can run the ball. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. And defensively, they probably don't get enough credit because of who they played. I like Missouri. I like them. I like the early kick. I like it being in Como. I like Missouri tomorrow.
Okay. Your lips to God's ears, Dari. Please. Your lips to God's ears. He's on Twitter at ESPN Dari. Hey, is Texas A&M for real?
Starting to think so, man. I'm starting to believe so. That defensive front, they lost a lot of pieces, obviously, to the NFL. I mean, 3 key pieces to the NFL, and all of a sudden, I mean, they look like, they're not as good, but they've regrouped pretty darn well. Great 1-2 punch at receiver. We talk about the duo that comes in, and when you look at Craver and Concepcion, Reed looks really, really good at quarterback, comfortable there. So, yeah, I'm kind of starting to think so. Like, it's hard not to think of them and think, they'll crash like they did under Jimbo. They'll crash like they did under Kevin Sumlin. I don't know. This feels a little different to me. I don't know. Do they to you?
So when we were at Media Days, I picked A&M as my surprise team because I loved them on the line of scrimmage. What you just said, what they had coming back on the offensive line, 3 running backs, a quarterback that acts really as a 4th runner as well. So I picked them to lead the SEC in rushing. But, Dari, I picked them 9-3. So I picked them to break through from the 8-4 malaise, but not an 11-1, 10-2 type team. I stopped short of that and put them at 9-3. And I don't know, man, maybe I undervalued them a little bit because, man, if they win on Saturday, they're going to get Florida before they come to Baton Rouge. They'll likely be 7-0 coming to Baton Rouge for what would be an absolute epic night in Tiger Stadium. If LSU cooperates the next 2 weeks, well, they got to beat South Carolina and Vandy. But if they cooperate, and these two teams, I mean, that's a top 10 matchup in Tiger Stadium with LSU and A&M. That would be phenomenal in 2 weeks. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I look at LSU. I'd like them to keep winning. I love that game in Norman to be with a whole lot on the line at the end of the regular season. I think that'd be fantastic too.
I think LSU's path, and we'll finish. I'll get your thought on LSU South Carolina, but I think LSU's path, as down as people are after the Ole Miss loss, you're favored by 9.5 at home. You're going to be a road favorite at Vandy, and if somehow you manage to win those 2 and then beat A&M, you go into November off your bye with 4 games, home games against Arkansas and Western Kentucky, which are manageable. So it leaves you 2 road games at Bama and then at OU. And the feeling for LSU has to be if you can get to November with 1 loss, you split those road games, then you're going to be 10-2 and in the playoffs. So I think there's at least an outside shot that both LSU and Oklahoma are playing that game, that final play-in date, with a playoff spot on the line. I think that's a pretty good chance that happens.
Which would be absolutely incredible. But, I'm now doing a daily radio show, with an Oklahoma audience, and I've had to remind them over and over again that this ain't the Big 12. And in the Big 12, you beat Texas, you kind of roll, the snowball all the way to the college football playoff. You clear that hurdle, you're good to go. I think Oklahoma's got 5 teams on their schedule that are tougher than Texas. So this is just one little skip and a jump in a world of hurdles. So I know frankly, LSU and Oklahoma both have a long way to go, I think, before we get to that point.
Yeah.
But it would be special that night in Norman.
Yeah. Sure. After Texas, OU is at South Carolina, but then it's number 4 Ole Miss, at number 12 Tennessee, at number 8 Alabama, home against 14th ranked Missouri, home against 11th ranked LSU. Which why, Dari, I picked OU 7-5 this season, not because I didn't necessarily believe in Mateer. I looked at the schedule. I was like, I don't know how they navigate this. So I think they'll certainly be better than 7-5. The defense is outstanding, and Mateer has been really better than I thought he was going to be. But that schedule is horrendous. I mean, it's a bear. So give me, before you go, and I appreciate your time, man, a thought, if you would, on LSU and South Carolina. What you think we see Saturday night in Tiger Stadium?
I can't figure out either team, to be quite honest with you. I'm just waiting for LSU's offense to get rolling. It sounds like Caden Durham will be back. They've got receivers everywhere. I'm just waiting for, at some point, that offense to pop. And if it does, they're going to be really, really dangerous the rest of the way. We talk about it, night game at Tiger Stadium. South Carolina's been a little bit inconsistent offensively. I like LSU. I've heard from a lot of people that think South Carolina can go in there and maybe get this one. I'm not one of those people, Matt. I'll take LSU. I just want to see that offense pop, though. And when it does, look out, because that might be a snowball rolling downhill too.
It would be a lot of fun to see, and I see that glimpse on Saturday night. He's on Twitter at ESPN Dari. Y'all give him a follow. Watch him on SEC Now this evening and every night. Dari, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep, you got it, Matt. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, you too, buddy. We'll see you. Always appreciate Dari for his time. Dari, we had Jordan Rogers last hour. Phil Steele was here in hour 1. Tons of great college football talk. I'm going to knock out a break, come back, and I want to give you a final preview and prediction on Saints and Patriots. Can New Orleans make it 2 in a row? Look, if you're getting out to the Dome, remember Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's helping you cover the spread, not the point spread, your tailgate spread all year long. So if it's your Saturdays out in Baton Rouge at Tiger Stadium, or if it's Sundays heading to the Dome, or if you're just home gating or your game watch parties, Rouse's can help you out with everything you need. Your beer, your bourbon, all your other beverages, your party platters, your tailgate trays. They got everything for you. And, of course, you're making groceries. They can help you do that. They've been doing that for 65 years. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. All right, y'all, we are at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Couple of segments to go. I'll give you a pick on Saints Pats when we come back. Then I'll give you my final preview and prediction on LSU and South Carolina as we roll along on a Football Friday edition of AFR Live from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Excited to tell you, and now you'll start to get to see these pop up around town, which is really cool. They've announced the winners of the Get Gordon Billboard Design Contest. So big shout out to the winners, the first, second, and third place, Madeline LeBlanc, Amy Gonsolin, Christine Cousins. But they've also shared some other ones. As a matter of fact, the Kids Billboard Design Contest, Layla Weir from Lafayette. Shout out to Brianna Zhu, Suri Dong, and Kenzie Hebert for the Kids Billboard Design Competition winner. So awesome. They'll get highlighted. You'll get to see some of these pop up on billboards around the state, which is really cool to see as well. So you know what to do. You've been injured in an accident. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah, the red zone, I got to do a better job there. I think, obviously, I'm going to spend a lot of the back end of this week really digging into that, and that's as our game plan sequence works. Red zone will fall into the back end of this week, and so I think a lot of it, we're putting ourselves in unfavorable situations because we're not good enough, and as far as executing and sequencing plays on first and second down, we're falling ourselves into 2 poor third downs, and so I think a lot of times, if you're 3rd and 10 from the 10, you guys can go look up those stats. They're not very good. You're not going to convert a whole lot, and so what we do on first and second down has to be better. I got to sequence them better and put ourselves in better situations.
Penalties have hurt as well. Last week you had first and goal from the 7. Torricelli Simpkins false start. All of a sudden you're at the 12 and you end up getting behind the sticks and you end up kicking a field goal. So Kellen Moore talking about the Saints in the red zone where they got to be better. And there's a lot of ways that they have to be and can be better. And they'll need to be better in order to beat New England in the Dome on Sunday. It's interesting with the Saints and the Patriots because coming into this season, the way we sort of looked at it, it was going to be really hard for the Saints to win any of the first 4 games. But the opportunity was going to come with those back-to-back home games against the Giants and the Patriots, 2 teams with we didn't know if Dart would be starting at the time, but you figured potentially young quarterbacks, teams that were entering the season right around where New Orleans was as far as your projected win-loss totals, and getting those games at home felt like good opportunities. The Saints did in fact beat the Giants, but you look at New England and very similar teams coming into this season with, they failed to win more than 5 games a year ago, and young quarterbacks, first-year head coaches with their team. Vrabel, of course, was a successful head coach at Tennessee, but they've obviously through the first month of this NFL season operated at sort of different speeds. The Saints started 0-4, tripping over themselves in their first couple of games at home. They were embarrassed at Seattle. We all kind of gave them a back pat for a moral victory for a, air quotes, close loss at Buffalo, which gives you context on these Saints. You gave up 31 points and lost by 12, and we're talking about a close loss. And context matters, I understand, but you come home and you beat the Giants, you're 1-4. The flip side of it is New England sitting here at 3-2, and they went to Buffalo and beat soundly that Buffalo team we're just talking about that beat the Saints soundly. Now, the transitive property doesn't work in sports. You can't say, well, the common opponent thing where, the Saints or Buffalo beat the Saints and New England beat Buffalo, therefore. But you can deduce certain things about how teams are progressing, and the reality is, whereas Spencer Rattler has avoided big mistakes, 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception through 5 games, Drake May has been explosive. He's been a reason that New England has won games instead of just not being the reason that they're losing, like is the case with Spencer Rattler in New Orleans. May's thrown for over 1,200 yards already, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's been effective and efficient. He's completing more than 70% of his passes so far this year. So it's an interesting test case for New Orleans to compare yourself to New England, because you entered this season on paper very similarly, and New England very clearly has surpassed where you are through 5 games. This is a game on Sunday that'll be very interested to see how Spencer Rattler does throwing the football, in particular if Christian Gonzalez is limited or unavailable. The New England Patriots are very likely going to be shorthanded in the secondary. We mentioned Christian Gonzalez already being limited. We'll see what that means there. Keon White's going to be out, defensive end. Their safety, Jalen Hawkins, has already been ruled out with a hamstring injury. So you'll have a limited New England defense coming in, but you have a New Orleans Saints offense that just quite honestly has not been very good this year. This is just an objective fact. You're 14th in the NFL in rushing offense, and you're 25th in passing offense. When it comes to scoring, actually affecting the scoreboard, you're 28th out of 32 teams, averaging 18 points a game. 18 isn't going to be enough to beat New England Sunday in the Dome. So you're going to have to find a way to generate more offense than you've been able to do so far throughout the course of this season. I'll be interested to see about Alvin Kamara, his availability. Maybe we see more of Kendre Miller. And on the flip side of it, the New Orleans Saints defense hasn't been very good. You're 24th in the NFL in scoring defense, with allowing 27 points a game. And you came up with the big day turning over the Giants on 5 consecutive possessions. But in a game where you forced 5 consecutive turnovers, you won that game 26-14. So it was hardly a runaway and hide situation. And you've still got a real issue on your hands with Blake Grupe. And this isn't just throwing dirt on him. It's the fact that he's missed 5 kicks in 5 games. and he's 10 out of 15 on the season. That's 66%. That doesn't play in the NFL. When you have scoring opportunities, you have to convert scoring opportunities. And as we talked about with Kellen Moore there at the start of this segment with being better in the red zone, so too hand in hand does that go Blake Grupe converting on kicks when you have the opportunity to impact and affect the scoreboard. I am going to be very interested in one matchup in particular with the Saints defense and the Patriots offense, and that's the return of Chase Young. Because the Saints defense, especially in the secondary, at corner, I do not believe is outstanding. And Kool-Aid McKinstry, despite the 2 interceptions last week, I thought struggled. He had a bad PI. He got big boyed on the touchdown by the Giants tight end. The 2 interceptions he got, one was effectively a punt, and the other was a ball that was nowhere near the receiver. It was a bad throw by Jackson Dart. So we've seen Kool-Aid McKinstry struggle at times this year. Now you're going to have to go up against Stephon Diggs. I mean, if you fancy yourself as a number 1 cornerback in the NFL, every week you're drawing the assignment of facing the opponent's number 1 receiver, and most teams in the NFL have a number 1 receiver. And so, we're going to have to see how Kool-Aid McKinstry continues to develop in that role, because when you look at the PFF grades defensively, the overall grades, Kool-Aid McKinstry is down near the bottom. His overall grade so far in the season through 5 games is a 59. His tackling grade's a 47. His coverage grade is sitting there at a 61. So you would love to see Kool-Aid McKinstry play better, and here's a good opportunity to see if he can do it. But the way that you can assist your secondary is with a pass rush. So, I mean, what's a great way to play sort of symbiotic defense is a pass rush to affect the quarterback can help your secondary. So Chase Young coming back against rookie left tackle Will Campbell is a matchup to watch to see if Chase Young, who was one of the tops in the NFL a year ago in pressures, not in sacks, but in pressures, can help affect Drake May, move him off his spot, maybe force some errant throws. And then, of course, New England is going to be, in a situation with their running game with Antonio Gibson unavailable with the knee injury. Who's the next man up for New England running the football? I think when I look at this game, New England has the better coach in Mike Vrabel. I don't even know that that's debatable. And they have the quarterback that has made more explosive, dynamic, winning plays. And I have real questions about the Saints defense. I have questions about Blake Grupe. It was so nice to see the Saints get a win last week, and I've kind of been on it with this team. I picked them to lose each of the first 4 weeks they did. I picked them to beat the Giants last week. Actually, almost nailed the score. I picked it 26-14 or 26-16, and ended up 26-14. I was right on it. And I think the Saints come up short in this one again. I just don't know that they're in a position yet as an organization and as a team to make enough winning plays to beat good teams. And I think New England has proven with their win in Buffalo, they are a good football team that is far ahead in their rebuild than New Orleans is. I think it's a close game in the Dome, but I am going to pick the Patriots. I think New England wins a close one at 26-23 is the final that I've nabbed. So give me New England to beat the Saints in the Dome 26-23. All right, it's After Further Review. We're live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out our final break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. I'll give you a final thought and score prediction on LSU and South Carolina. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Our friends over at Duplessis Builders are doing awesome work, man, and I'm so proud to be associated with Derek and the great team at Duplessis Builders. Yes, they can build you that gorgeous custom pool, outdoor kitchen. They can even do putting greens at your house if that's what you want to do. Basically turning your outdoor space, your backyard space, into an outdoor oasis, your own private resort when you walk out your back door. Duplessis Builders can do all of that. But they also have a pick your pool option at the website. So if you go to duplessisbuilders.net, 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 if you want a more cost-effective option to build your own pool, Duplessis Builders has that. There's about 10 or 11 different pool models that you can build. You pick your finishings, and you can see what it will cost you right there. And there's a pool option for any budget. Like, seriously. And they offer financing. So don't think you can't afford a pool. Duplessis Builders has an option for you. DuplessisBuilders.net. Check them out online. Do it right now. It's DuplessisBuilders.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Stretch we come, final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR. We are presented by and live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, next Friday we're going to be in Nashville doing the show from Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places, all courtesy of our friends at Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, Our Lady of the Lake in LSU, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake in LSU, they're fond of saying, together we roar. We appreciate our friends at OLOL so much, and we're very much looking forward to the opportunity to be in Nashville next week. We'll also be presented by Veteran Security Services. So thanks so much to our sponsors that'll make our trip to Nashville possible next week. So we'll be live in Nashville 1 week from today at Garth Brooks Friends in Low Places. If you're making the trip or know LSU fans in Nashville, it'll all be in conjunction with the LSU Alumni Association. Our coverage, again, brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, and Veteran Security Services. All right, LSU in South Carolina, Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. I know LSU has just been chewing on the Ole Miss loss now for 2 weeks, and everyone's ready to see if this offense maybe can break out. Is Garrett Nussmeier closer to health after they shut him down during the bye week? Can the Tigers get the run game going? Do we see more of Karius Kern? What we haven't talked about really is LSU's defense, because at this point, that's a known commodity. If you watched the Ole Miss game, look, you can look at a box score and see 480 yards or whatever it was, but if you watch that game, LSU's defense did an outstanding job. They were just dragging because they were on the field for 84 plays. The offense did a terrible job of running the football, trying to possess the football and playing a complementary style, and that's because they threw it 34 times and ran it 22. We've been over it a million times. By now, you know all the numbers. The question is, as you move through this game and through the remainder of the season, is LSU playing to win games or are they playing to win a championship? You can roll your eyes and laugh at that all you want, but you have a championship caliber defense. We would all agree on that. And you have a championship caliber special teams unit. You have a quarterback that in an SEC season threw for 4,000 yards, and you have skill guys everywhere that have proved they're not maybes. It's not off-season hype. They have done it at this level. The one component you do not have playing at a high level is your offensive line, and it's what we've talked about all offseason. This is an opportunity against another league opponent, like 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss, to prove that you're making progress. The key to whatever LSU might be playing for in November is that offensive line continuing to get better. Can they do it against South Carolina? For me, what I want to see when this game is over is I want to open up the box score, and I want to see a 50-50 distribution of run and pass. Because if LSU commits to running the football, and I'm not saying they got to go run for 180 yards. What I'm telling you is if they make a commitment to running the football and make South Carolina or whoever they play respect it, respect the possibility that they will run the football, then teams are not going to be able to drop 7 or 8 into coverage. And all of this works together in tandem. If now you have to bring the linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage, you can't play too high safety, you can't drop 7 or 8 into coverage, now all of a sudden Garrett Nussmeier has cleaner passing lanes. One of your outstanding receivers, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, Berrien Brown, Xavier Thomas, whoever it is going to find themselves in man coverage. Trey'Dez Green. And I like those guys' opportunity to win one-on-one matchups against overmatched secondaries. And Ole Miss was an overmatched secondary. Ole Miss gave up 500 yards of offense to Arkansas. And there were plays to be made. We've gone through plenty of them where LSU had plays to be made down the field and they didn't make them. But I think a big reason why they didn't, you can blame Nuss's health or whatever. I'm not here to have that conversation. We've had it plenty. But you've got to give Nussmeier time to throw. You've got to give him clean passing lanes because he's proven throughout his career he's capable of doing that. Now, that's the big picture. This game in particular is a pretty easy one to handicap because if you're looking at this and going, man, why is LSU with that offense a 9.5-point favorite, then you have not watched South Carolina play. I have, and they are bad. A year ago, that team had an outstanding defense with NFL players on it. Kyle Kennard was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's gone. Tonka Hemingway was a really good interior defensive tackle. He's in the NFL. Nick Emenwari was a top 50 pick in the NFL draft. Like, you have NFL talent on that defense a year ago for South Carolina that's no longer there. And you have an offense that has not figured out how to replace Rocket Sanders. And then you also are down 3 starting offensive linemen in this game against LSU against a very good, explosive, athletic front. For all the conversation about Lenora Sellers, and I joke and call him Rex Bex and all that sort of stuff. At 6'3", 240, we know he's a freak athlete. He's an outstanding athlete. But the reality is with Lenora Sellers, he has never been a consistent passer. He's got a big arm. He's never been a consistent passer. And when teams are selling out to stop him from beating with his legs, he hasn't been able to do it. Lenore Sellers on the season through 5 games has rushed for 98 yards. Now he's got more than 100 yards lost in sack yardage, but he's got 1 rushing touchdown. It was the first offensive possession of the season for South Carolina against Virginia Tech. He scored a rushing touchdown, has not scored a rushing touchdown since. And I don't know that a night game in Tiger Stadium against that LSU defense is the remedy for what ails you offensively if you're South Carolina. I think this is a game where if Carolina is affecting the scoreboard, it's because they're able to do it with their defense and their special teams, which they're very good at. They have 6 non-offensive touchdowns on the season, which is why they're even ranked 100th in the country in scoring offense because of their non-offensive touchdowns. So I don't think Carolina is going to be able to move the ball effectively, efficiently, and challenge LSU. But I'm also not going to pick LSU to do that either. I'm at this point where after you weren't able to move the ball against a bad Ole Miss defense, I have to see you do it before I pick you to do it. They have the athletes on the outside and the quarterback that have proven they can, but until you do this year, I'm not picking you to do it. I think LSU wins this game, and I do think they win it by double digits, but I don't think it's going to be this score fest like we might be hoping to see. Give me LSU 27-17 to beat South Carolina in Tiger Stadium, and they'll head to Nashville next week to take a crack at Vandy on the road. All right, that'll do it for us here live from Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Hey, Don Juan is going to be with Bocock tomorrow outside the Tiger Stadium near the PMAC. Make sure you check him out then. Alondra on site, great job as always. Moose, Cassie back in studio. Thank y'all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at 3.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. That's ARCCO, arco.com for Arco Power Systems. I mean, they're an outstanding business, and you may not have heard of Arco Power Systems until we've started talking about them here, but when you learn about Arco, you realize how impressive this business is. They sell, install, service generators that are built for businesses. At Arco, they like to say, our business is your business. They work 24/7 during disasters. Think about for a moment your business. Think about what a loss of power means for your business. At Arco Power Systems, they make sure your business keeps running during the storm or during the power outage. They make sure roads are working, phones, dispatchers for 911. Life continues through any event, and Arco Power Systems make sure that you stay online. It's turnkey service, so be proactive. They sell, they lease, they service industrial generators. It's arco.com. Arco.com.